The conciliatory cycle. The conciliatory cycle is the opposite of the retaliatory cycle that I've already talked about. It's what Dr. Dana calls the magic of mediation. There are those gestures that happen in the course of mediation, in the course of that dialogue, that makes the breakthrough so that we get to the second phase, as it were, of mediation, and we start reconciling with each other. For those who haven't met me, my name is Anisia Mwaneki, a lawyer, a mediator, an arbitrator, and a trainer. Today, let's talk about the conciliatory cycle. And we may hear of words that probably, or expressions that we haven't heard before, but I think it's a beautiful way of understanding what happens when we engage in a conversation, when we engage in a dialogue that can make or create that breakthrough so that we can resolve our conflicts, our interpersonal conflicts. What are conciliatory gestures? Conciliatory gestures are what we call voluntary statements of vulnerability. For example, I'll give a few examples. Apologizing, conceding some, I don't know, like giving in, or you're conceding some ground, because usually in a conflict we are kind of fixed in a position, and when we concede, we give ground, we concede that position, we start having a breakthrough, or owning responsibility, or initiating that if we engage in dialogue, we end up gaining, both of us, These gestures, these conciliatory gestures, automatically, in fact, as it were, make the other person soften what we call, or what Dr. Dana expresses as, the inhibitory reflex. It's like saying that if we make one of these conciliatory gestures, for example, like apologizing, naturally and automatically almost, or instinctively, it lessens the aggression in the other person. That's what inhibitory gesture is all about, inhibitory reflex is about. That when a person apologizes, it softens the other person. It lessens the aggression, because in a retaliatory cycle, it's like a continuous aggression is confrontational. Then in the conciliatory cycle, the opposite happens. So when person A gives a conciliatory gesture or makes a voluntary statement of vulnerability, like accepting that now they see that they were probably in the wrong, or that they contributed to the problem, it stimulates instinctively a lessening of aggression in the other person. We're talking about any person that is really normal and a bit balanced. It doesn't come automatically, I know, but it's kind of really a natural kind of reflex. When somebody keeps telling you, I'm sorry, I'm really sorry, I think I understand where you're coming from. If you had been shouting, you can't continue shouting unless there's something quite wrong with you. At least it tones down, it softens. And then once that person B lessens that aggression, he kind of feels almost obliged, to offer a conciliatory gesture. And probably they'll be the ones to say, come to think of it, I never thought of it that way, but now I am beginning to see this thing your way. Yeah. And then when that person does that, person B does that, it like naturally now again stimulates the inhibitory reflex in the other person. It also lessens their aggression or their anger or their fear. It tones them down. Yeah. And then the cycle continues. Yeah. So when we give conciliatory gestures, it tones down the other person, it lessens the aggression, it makes them feel a little more comfortable also, and they feel probably a little safe now to want to also offer another or their own conciliatory gesture. And that cycle continues until you come to a point where you realize we can resolve this. Yeah, we don't even stop to think about it. It kind of comes naturally, and we realize, let's now talk. Let's now talk and tackle this problem, this conflict that we have head on, and get a solution somewhat, somehow. So, as Dr. Dana says, the magic of mediation. Yeah, it's the second phase in that whole process. I know it's not as easy probably as I'm making it sound, but it is such a natural thing when the environment is right, when the dialogue skills are applied, either in self-mediation or by a professional mediator that guides that conversation to the point where we get a breakthrough and we get to that conciliatory cycle that eventually enables the persons in conflict to come to a point of resolving their own conflict and getting a mutual solution to that conflict that they have or they've been having for a long or for a short time. So keep tuned to my channel. Kindly subscribe so that I can keep you updated on this series that I'm having on matters mediation, and so that we can get to the point of learning how to resolve our conflicts peacefully. See you in the next one. Bye.